So welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the brand new iPhone 16 Pro as we're out on a fall hike in Algonquin Park. We're right here at the beginning of fall, so I thought it'd be a perfect time to just go out, explore, test the new camera capabilities of this iPhone and what this new iPhone means for content creators. And so in Algonquin Park, we're on Centennial Ridge. It's a beautiful area with some cliffs to take beautiful landscape photos with, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing. And so that brings us to the first part of today's video, where we are testing the new iPhone 16 Pro on a hike in Algonquin at an incredible viewpoint. And the first thing we need to do then, before we actually can get out and see a little bit more of what's around here, is talk about the new features that are on this phone and why a content creator might be excited about it. So the first feature we need to talk about is the added performance with the new A18 chips, and specifically the A18 Pro for this iPhone that I have in my hands right here. We've got a 20 to 30% performance boost allegedly for content creators. I'm not expecting that to be too big of a difference in what we're up to unless you're doing heavy video editing on your phone, but I've yet to see somebody actually do that. The second thing though is the display size. So we have a slightly larger display, 6.3 inches on the Pro, 6.9 inches on the Pro Max. So that's kind of up to you if you think that that's going to be a big deal for you. But the main thing we're going to be looking at today, and the main reason why I was excited to test this iPhone, is because we've got new 48 megapixel camera sensors added on the back. We now have a dedicated 48 megapixel sensor on the wide and another 48 megapixel sensor on the 1X, which is perfect for landscape photography. You've already seen that one photo that I took from the top of this ridge that I'm currently standing on. We've got a lot more photos to go that we can test out with this phone. Because the added feature that's brand new to the iPhone is that side camera control button that we've got going on right here. I'm going to cover my face so you can kind of see how it sits on the phone. I am using the Apple case because it has that added touch capabilities on the phone itself to be able to use the new feature. I've bought a separate case that has just like a notch in it, and it's awful, so I had to get this Apple case. Other things included that you've probably seen already is the upgraded battery life. They also have a whole bunch of different colors available. I tend to just keep my phones being as close to black as possible, or like dark space gray. And then of course the added software. So currently, you've heard it all before, we've got the iOS 18 currently sitting on the phone, Apple Intelligence still to roll out, but the point of today's video is to test this thing out, see first impressions of the iPhone, and figure out if it's worth the buy or not. So with that, let's carry on with the hike and see what these photo cameras can actually do. We've got an absolutely stunning view behind me. Look at this. This is insane, but let's see what these iPhone cameras can do. First thing we're looking for is obviously quality. So we're gonna put the camera in RAW and take a shot. Let's see what we can get. Hilariously, it just missed focus. So let's clean the camera lens. How an iPhone misses focus, I'm not quite sure. That's a lot better. All right, so that's the 1X. Let's go for the wide. Here's the 2, and then we'll just go for the 5 just for fun. See what we can find here. So overall, I'm gonna say, like, it looks solid in the moment right here, if I'm being honest. All the things that you would expect in a good quality phone camera. Nowadays anyway. Remember the early days, phone cameras were awful. All right, so behind me now, we've got another lookout of a similar area. The difference is there's no water. And what I want to do is show you, or figure out, I guess, if there's a comparison difference between the JPEG photos and the RAW photos of the 16 Pro and the 15 Pro. So test out those differences and see what can happen here. Looking at them quickly on my phones just now, I think the iPhone 16, I read something about this, but I wasn't too sure. So I haven't tested anything before this video, but I'm noticing it flattens the images a lot more. So what I'm seeing a lot is just it raising the shadows like way more than it needs to be, to almost like fake brightness in the shot. And I think that's also overexposing the sky slightly. So good news is we're shooting in RAW, like it's not a big deal. But if you're shooting in JPEG, I think you're gonna start running into some issues. just grabbed a cool reflection photo on the water. And honestly, I'm convinced the phone camera's solid. Like, you're not really gonna see much difference from the 15 Pro. I think where you will see the difference though is in the wide camera lens quality. So I'm gonna take that reflection photo and I'm gonna show you what it looks like with the 15 Pro on a raw camera setting. And then I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the 16 Pro. And I think there's a massive difference in the overall quality. Obviously, you're dealing with a 12 megapixel sensor on the 15 versus a 48 megapixel sensor on the 16. And I think for most content creators, that's gonna be a good reason to change and to upgrade. I think like everybody's having so much fun with the wide camera lenses lately, you're gonna wanna see that difference. So I'm actually really impressed, if I'm being honest, with that wide camera lens, with the landscape shots that I've taken. Obviously the compositions maybe could have been better, but that's Ontario for you. We're not in mountain ranges here. But yeah, overall, it's looking pretty good to me. Now, the one thing I haven't tested out yet are the new feature to the 16 camera lines, which is the camera styles feature. Now, this is essentially editing for your camera without needing to use RAW and Lightroom settings, etc. So for people that don't want to get in the weeds with their camera editing, then this is going to be the setting for you. So we're gonna go into the standard profile first. So I'm gonna show you a comparison of all of the different settings we have available to us, because I'm honestly really curious. I mean, there's a beautiful lake in front of us. So we got standard 1, gold, let's take a picture, neutral, color profile, like 5600 white balance kind of thing. Luminous, not for this composition. Dramatic, needs a little bit of work, not for this one either. Quiet, ooh, quiet you could have some fun with. I like quiet, quiet's kind of cool. Cozy, this one I could see being useful for interior shots. Ethereal, not a fan. Muted, black and white. I mean, just being honest with you guys, like, this is a great camera. First impressions, made it about halfway through this hike. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this camera. Like, it's shockingly good. I think overall the functionality of the phone is really, really nice. Like, just even how easy that camera button is to use. It's honestly just intuitive at this point. I'm not even using the camera app. Like, I'm just straight up hitting the button, which, to be honest, I didn't actually think I was gonna do. I figured it was a gimmick. Like, I was just like, oh, they added this to make everybody upgrade. No, like, you're gonna end up using it. All right, and one thing I'm always interested about when it comes to these iPhones is the front-facing camera. So that's what we got going on right here. And there's no mic attached. This is the audio straight out of the camera, as if it's like a regular vlog. You want to just shoot something quick. We got a gorgeous view behind me. You can kind of see the dynamic range here. Not the greatest. Obviously, trees are a little bit blown out. The sky is obviously very bright because it's high noon. So let me know what you think, if you like this front-facing camera or not. We're going to be talking about video next. So that's something I'm always curious about. Look at this view. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. Unreal. Yeah, this is a hike I've never actually done in Algonquin Park. I've come to Algonquin Park more times than I can count. I absolutely love it up here. But for some reason, I've just never done Centennial Ridge as a hiking trail. And I'm so glad I did, because what a great way to start fall. Okay, so we got the photo spot behind us, looking up over the other side of this trail. And I'm gonna grab a shot, see what I can get, see what the photo looks like. And then what I'm thinking to put this to the test is do a bit of a B-roll mix for the next part of the hike. All the footage and my final thoughts will be up on my Instagram. I'll upload a carousel from the trip today with kind of like my consensus. I'll probably get you back to the final lookout, and then we'll wrap things up and give some final thoughts on the actual phone itself, performance throughout the day, battery life, and we'll go from there. So let's see what we get. I am currently sitting down at a rock. I'm so tired. This hike takes it out of you. Oh my God. Extremely gorgeous, unbelievably beautiful. It's like tough to believe that a lot of this can be in Ontario. And honestly, overall, the 16 Pro, it's an unbelievable camera. The photos and videos I was able to get on this trip are of such high quality. I am very impressed. So keep in mind though, this is not a review. There's some things that I noticed that I definitely want to take a look at. And this is obviously being shot with the front facing camera. Honestly, I don't remember what they did to the front facing camera, but I'm going to take a look because this does look better than the 15 Pro. Honestly, if I knew, like, it just looks so sharp. If I knew it was going to look this good, I might not have gotten the Osmo Pocket 3. It might look better than the Osmo Pocket 3. The other thing I'll mention is after a full hike, I've been hiking now for almost 6 hours and I need water. The phone's at 50% battery, and I will say, could I have used it more than I did on this trip? Absolutely, because I obviously have the Sony A1. I have other cameras that I'm using. I think I could have done a little bit more video here and there. So the video, it chews battery, like, don't get me wrong, when you're creating as much as I am. So that's something that I will say, even though they extended the battery life on this thing, I think the batteries, it might be something you'll need battery packs for, especially if you're traveling or doing something like that. That'll be something to take a look at. So I'm gonna head back down to the car. I'm hoping it's 15 minutes. I'll check in with you guys there before we wrap up today's video. But yeah, overall, guys, this phone's something else. The camera, 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10. Okay, we made it. I am destroyed after that hike. But yeah, honestly, this camera's amazing. Battery life, like I said, might be something you'd want to look into. That's a little bit questionable. First time out, maybe I used it more than I thought I did, or maybe I actually did drain the battery as much as I said I did. By the time I got down here, it was at around 40%. Anyway, that said, I'm curious to know what everybody else's first experiences are with the phone. For me, I'm actually blown away. It's super easy to use. The features are just so intuitive. And the side camera button is awesome. I don't think it's hard to use at all. Is it a little bit finicky? Sure. But like, you can get used to it and you understand how it works after a few presses. So I think a lot of the early reviews that I was seeing said it's like hard to use or it's not ideal or whatever it might be. Honestly, I didn't have any issues with it. I think it is what it is. Like, maybe I'll talk about it separately. Like, it works and it's great. And I love the haptic feedback that you get while using it. So it feels like a button as you're sliding it. It's really cool. So yeah, I think first impressions, honestly, I'm really happy with this. I'm excited to do a lot more with the iPhone this year than I did last year, do some more POV videos and see what we can make. So with that, I hope you found today's video useful. If there's any questions you're wondering about the new iPhone, comment them down below. I'll make a separate video about it. And with that, thanks for watching.